to talk to Gage.
Nacho Libre as a film is far better than I ever expected it to be. So for some context, I watched Nacho Libre just a few nights ago with my family for the first time ever. I've never seen this movie any other point in my life, so this was a first time watch for me. And I'm definitely going to be talking about this movie at the end of the year with the ranking of all the movies that I watched in the year 2024 with my older brother. So be sure y'all subscribe if you want to see that video whenever we get to the end of this year. This will be in there because I've never seen it before. So I remember growing up, I heard so many kids in my school reference this movie. They would talk about it, they would quote it. It was just a movie I felt like I understood even without watching it. That was a long time ago when I was much younger. And it was only recently that I remembered it, and I was like, oh, I've never seen that. And I really want to watch all these movies that I missed out on that I know are very iconic and have a lot of fans, and I've just never seen them. So I want to go back and watch a lot of them. That's what I've been doing this past year, especially, is catching up on a lot of classics. And this is one of those movies that I remember everyone quoted. I just kind of want to be aware of its existence. So I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's watch it and see what I think. So what did I think of Nacho Libre starring Jack Black? I thought it was great. I actually thought this movie was really good for what it is. It's by no means the best comedy movie I've ever seen in my life, and there's definitely a good amount of just really over-the-top goofiness and just lightheartedness that's in some ways feels a little childish, but at the same time, I feel like it fits the tone of this movie and what it's going for. And ultimately, I think it's the charm and the heart that this movie brings to the table that genuinely makes it really good and a really special movie, I think, and one that I have instantly grown an affinity for. While I could do without some of the goofy scenes, some of the extra goofy scenes that are in this movie, I overall thought it was actually really fun. My favorite part about it has to be the fact that Jack Black's character, Nacho, he's like this monk in this monastery. You know, he like helps take care of all these orphans, but he really just wants people to respect him. He really wants to be seen and respected, and he wants to do something cool and great and take care of the people he loves. I really like the dynamic between him and the nun character that he had a romantic interest in. I thought it was really funny and interesting, all the places that ends up going. And I just found it to be such a feel-good movie. There's few movies that I see that are just feel-good, that are just like happy movies. So many movies try to be gritty or dark, have like this deep, profound messages about life or society. And don't get me wrong, I adore movies like that. It's one of my favorite types of movies, dramas with deep themes. But sometimes it's really good to have a movie that just is having fun and is just being a good, enjoyable time, a good, happy family movie. I really like that about this. So that's probably my favorite part. I really like where Nacho's story goes. I like how, you know, the whole movie's building up to this point where he fights this big shot luchador wrestler, and it's really just cool how, you know, it's a very inspiring little story about this kind of a nobody monk who ends up being someone who really helps out these orphans, you know, these kids who have no one else. And I don't know, it was really just like when the movie ended, I was like, bro, that was like really like just so smiley. You know, that movie was just so smiley. Like, it was impossible to watch it without just smiling at it, you know? So I really liked it. I think Nacho Libre is actually kind of underrated. I think it's very goofy for sure, you know, and again, I could do without some of the scenes being very goofy, like with the animal, the two animal-like midget people. That's a little weird. But overall, I really liked it. And that's probably the thing I dislike about the movie the most, is just some of that extra goofiness, some like the fart jokes, like I said, the animal people. Not really my vibe. I don't really like that much, but everything else with this movie and just where the movie ends up going is so good. Maybe it has a slow start, but overall, it was really cool to see someone who's just so different, just really make a name for himself and really just ultimately help the people he loved the most. And it's so goofy, but I love it. So I genuinely think this is a good movie, and if what I'm describing sounds interesting to you, then I totally recommend that you give it a shot. Even if you don't love everything about it, I think it's definitely worth experiencing.